Chicken composting. Sometimes when I'm doing something and Igor just sits there looking at me like that, I'm imagine that he's saying to me, "What in the world are you doing now?" He has no clue what's going on. We could also call this chickens in the beets, but we're going to call it chicken composting. Free labor from your chickens. Not that it needs to be turned or anything, but just throw some manure on top of this and continue our garden bed. I need 3 meters to make 60 rows here. And then I have 10 plantings of 6 rows. 2.5 months of corn, sweet corn. April 15th-ish till July 1st-ish. So, yeah. Free labor, free food for them. Not free, they gotta work for it, but they would be scratching around in the grass, catching insects and bugs. But there's more bugs here for them, more protein, higher. It's like feeding oat chaff to them, or, you know, prime rib. So they have some grass, they have their house, they have water. I give them additional feed. It's colder. They're eating more food now, although I'm trying to give them my very best stuff. But they're gonna go in here. They're gonna not do so much tilling until they catch every single worm in this little strip of biologically active soil I built last fall. They'll 20 minutes or an hour from now, there'll be a straight line down there. They'll dug it away, dug all the chips away, and dug everything got everything they can get. It's nice and wet. It's fall. It's too wet actually, but it's wet. There's grass. Even in this old dead grass field that we're rehabilitating, there's worms because it's wet. The few worms they come up. This old stalwart is working on yesterday's project. I gave them this little area to scratch around. It's just chicken shredding week. There was cardboard boxes there full of oranges and lemons and beets, and it was a few months old. So I threw some, not really good wood chips or anything, but some stuff, mulchy sort of stuff, and they just pretty much destroyed the few weeds. There's a little piece of grass I might pull before I mulch it again. This is the little cherry tree that was thought to be right on the property line, but then we discovered that there's a little hypotenuse. The line is generally straight, but then there's a little piece that veers off at the end, which was compensation for the nave of the church. Decades ago, 60 or 80 years ago, that was all established, but we didn't realize that. So it looked like it was right on the property line, just extending the property line straight down. So there you can see my little red stake, I don't know, in this. Anyway, it doesn't matter because we've rented this property beside us for the next 20 years. 19 and a half. So it's going to end up being in the way, and it's a cherry tree. There's another one there, and another one there, and another one there. That's another cherry tree. He suffered some fire damage. Some of these may go once we start to get a few strategically placed shade trees. But we'll definitely keep them for now, for any shade we can get. But if it's, right in the middle where a roadway has to end up going, I wouldn't hesitate to chop it out. But out of these 3 trees, who knows, we might keep one, I don't know exactly. Where a road comes down here, a major road, to center of approximately the 3 properties. Negotiating the next little 20-meter strip too for long-term release, having some resistance. So that's really the only roady type road we want. We do have to drive here sometimes. But in order to avoid this road entirely, I would have to have some sort of, this has to be some sort of a turnaround, or at least a place where I can drive there and then back up, but it's hilly. Maybe we'll see what goes on there. This is all still kind of, I need a place to cut wood. I'm growing this walnut tree, stack of, 6-8 foot long pieces of wood, and cut them, but I'm growing that shade tree as quickly as I can. So I have a place to cut wood in the shade in the summer. There's some old stumps there. You need a place where stuff piles up. I have that place right there. It's a bit of a mess right there under that cherry tree. That's where I'm going to move the shredder to. Have a little shredding station there, more central to the whole property, and have the little Pannonia there, and bring the car to there, unload, shred, and then transfer it to the shredded materials to the Pannonia, and then you can sneak around in different places better, faster. You can go over to 93, could drive right now on this ground without causing serious damage, where the car just gets stuck. It's rained here for 4 days straight. We've had 4 inches of rain in 3 days or something. It's just too much. You're okay on this flatter land, but at the front where I slope up, it's chipped in that. But I have a little section at the front that I didn't chip because that's and so you end up bringing the mud up on and then it's a little bit too much slope for. Again, we'd had flat entrance there through that property, but right now I don't have. It's not wide enough to bring a car through between the root cellar and the old pig pen, and it's not chipped. It's like trees growing up and shrubs. Dennis didn't come and shred it yesterday, but he's going to come next Saturday and shred it. And then it's a question of getting chips, make a little bit more space. I can get through easily with the little Pannonia, but not wide enough for a car and trailer. So what was? Oh yes, chicken composting. Justin Rhodes, I appreciate all your labor in piling material up in a nice 3 foot high by 3 foot circle square compost pile every day, piling it up. Just throw it down on the ground, they'll scratch through it. Especially we're building this garden, right? So even if they don't, it's still gonna all rot down. But they'll get food value out of it. In the summer, there might be flies buzzing here. I don't know if soldier flies have been introduced to Hungary or are native. I don't know. That would attract them. I got little piles of cardboard here and there. I need the cardboard for purposes of cardboard, but I'm also providing a habitat for soldier fly. And then if we can find them, if they are actually here, I'll actually go and build a thing. Would love to start processing some of this stuff into 5% calcium. What is it? 30-40% protein black soldier fly larvae to feed the chickens and the pig too. It just make it so much easier and a little cleaner and nicer. And then you would, yeah. But right now in our development stages, like we're rehabilitating this little pasture. So I don't like just scattering stuff around and letting it rot in. It covers as a mulch. We just did one pass here this year. And I kind of ran the pig down across the fence, so the majority of the scraps went here. So you get tomatoes. There's a native horseradish. Tried to save any alfalfa and clover that was here. You get watermelons and whatever kind of squashes and all sorts of stuff. Some oats he didn't eat there. Somehow, or the chickens spilled it or whatever. Grew up. Little corn he didn't eat 2 cobs or 2 kernels of corn, so they grew up. Another one here. Some watermelons I fed them and they've grown. We'll feed them to him. I'm going to run him right back up here again this fall, and we're going to till it. It's wet, and he's bigger. He digs. Anyway, there's a variety of stuff grows up. We need to establish shade here along this fence line to shade this field, so you can grow all the grass you want. If it's too bloody hot for the animals to go out into the sun, it's 40 degrees, they're not interested, even if they're hungry, in going out and eating it. It's too hot for them. Gonna run them right down here. He'll destroy this in spots, whatever, it doesn't matter. But he'll get use of it, he'll stir it up. Like, he's able to turn grass into pretty much a plowed field. Pretty good. You know, and the food scraps will be there, and it's getting colder, so I'm going to have to start bedding them down with some straw at night so it'll be pre-mulched. As we get wood chips, I'll just follow it along, follow his little path, and chip it. No cardboard, no, and then it'll be ready to plant trees. Some days he's more interested in rooting than others. He does like bare dirt better to root in. He'll chew that up more. But he'll take the grass. He'll chew grass up. He just takes his little nose and he takes off about the top 2 inches, and he flips it around, and he eats snails, and he finds old walnuts. I don't know, whatever he's eating, he's making a living out of it. Not entirely. I feed him corn, feed him green corn. This will be his last meal today, of green corn and the food scraps. So anyway, chicken and swine composting.